Okay, as I said, I'm going to teach just a little bit about the Torah portion. Then we're going to jump into the next letter of the Hebrew Aleph Beit. Yay. Okay, yesterday, historically, the flood took place. Literally, yesterday, that was the day. Now, here we are. Before we jump into Genesis 18, we're going to look at Genesis 17, verse 15 through 18. It says, and God said to Abraham, as for Sarai, your wife, you are no longer to call her Sarai, but Sarah will her name be, and I will bless her, and I will give you a son from her. Yes, I will bless her, and she'll be the mother of nations. Kings of people will come from her. And then it says, Abraham fell on his face and what? He wasn't rebuked for laughing, but Abraham was laughing, and this is out loud. But he says in his heart, shall a child be born unto him that is 100 years old? And will Sarah, who is 90 years old, bear a child? So Abraham said to God, oh, that Ishmael might live before you. And God said, Sarah, your wife, will bear you a son indeed, and you will call his name what? Abraham and Sarah don't get to choose their son's name. And he chose his name because Abraham laughed. It says, I will establish my covenant with him for an everlasting covenant, and with his seed after him. Okay, so here we are. They named his name Yitzhak, but the root word means laughter. So here, Abraham is cracking up laughing. We know Sarah was cracking up laughing. And so God says, fine, we're going to name your son Laughter. Who gets the last laugh? Always. But you want to know what's funny about his name? How old was Sarah? How old was Abraham? Well, guess what? That far right letter, the Shaddai, has a numerical value of 90, and the Kuf has 100. The very name means a 90-year-old and a 100-year-old will come together and produce life, which is the middle letter Chet. Isn't that amazing? God has his laughing place. Everybody has a laughing place. And I tell you what, God loves to laugh. We see in Genesis 17:21, he says, my covenant I'm going to establish with Isaac, which Sarah will bear unto you at when? A set time, moed. It's a divine appointment. And it says it's at this time next year. And so he left off talking with him, and God went up from Abraham. Do you know what that set time was? Passover. Isaac was born on Passover. Now in Genesis 18, verse 2 through 9, here we see Sodom is about to be judged. And he lifts up his eyes and he looked and he saw the three men that stood opposite him. And when he saw them, he ran to meet them from the tent door and bowed himself to the earth. And he said, my Lord, if now I found favor in your sight, please don't go away. Let a little water be fetched, wash your feet, rest yourselves under the tree. He says, I will get a morsel of bread so you can refresh your heart. And after that, you may go your way now that you've come to your servant. And they said, I often wonder about they said, did they all three speak in unison? They said, very well, do as you said. So what did Abraham do? He hurried. It's the heat of the day. Now, I was thinking also about what Joe was saying, but when you think about this, it's his third day for being circumcised. And if you know, down in the Hebron, way down there by the Dead Sea, it gets really hot. I mean, really hot. Now, God can take the heat. These three men he wasn't sure about. Okay. Then he hurries to go and he helps them. And he says to Terah, quickly prepare 3 measures of fine meat or meal, knead it, make cakes. And then Abraham, he runs again to the herd. He fetched a tender and good calf. He gave it to a servant. And then what did he do again? He hurried to dress it. Man, he is on the run. He's not thinking about himself. He's thinking about how he can take care of the other people, probably because he wanted to get back to his conversation with God. But then look at this. He took the buttermilk and the meat. Oh my goodness, he mixed milk and meat together. Now, some people like to say, well, he served the milk later. Well, 4 hours in the heat of the day, your milk is going to be curdled. So I think he served them together. And it says he stood by them under the tree and they ate, and they all asked him, where's Sarah, your wife? And he goes, well, she's right there in the tent. And then we find, well, Sarah, I think what's interesting, Abraham never told Sarah she's going to have a son. And so that's why they're saying it right in front of her. She ends up hearing it from them, not from Abraham. I don't know how it went for Abraham when he got back in the tent. But it says in Genesis 18, verse 12 and 13, first 18:10, he said, I will certainly return unto you when the season comes, and Sarah, your wife, will have a son. And Sarah heard the tent door, which was behind him. And then it says, Sarah laughed within herself. She says, after I'm old, am I going to have a kid? And my hubby is old too. And the Lord said to Abraham, why did Sarah laugh? I think it's interesting. She was laughing within her heart, but the Lord heard it. Who else but the Lord could hear what's going on in your heart? That proves to you this is the Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh who's standing there. Okay. Genesis 18, 14 and 15, the Lord said to Abraham, why did Sarah laugh, saying, will I really bear a child who am old? Is anything too hard for the Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh? Again, he says, at the set time, I'm going to return to you when the season comes about, and Sarah shall have a son. And then in Genesis 21:6, Sarah said, and God has made me to laugh, so that all that hear will laugh with me. So Abraham and Sarah and God have their laughing places. As a matter of fact, look at this. Psalms 2 through 4. The kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against the Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh and against his Messiah. And they say, let us break their bonds asunder, and let's cast away their cords. And then it says, he who sits in the heaven is going to what? Laugh and laugh and laugh. We might be afraid of these nations, but God's not. Matter of fact, in Psalm 37, 12 and 13, the wicked plots against the just and gnashes upon him with his teeth. And again, the Lord is going to just laugh because he sees his day is coming. Job 5, 22 and 23, God says to you at destruction and famine, you're going to laugh. Neither shall you be afraid of the beasts of the earth, for you will be in league with the stones of the field, and the beasts of the field will be at peace with you. I believe when these times are coming, we're going to find our laughing place because we're going to realize God is with us.